right things. I'm being very adult today. There are a couple pieces that aren't necessarily in here that I just want to share with y'all. I'll be 51 at the end of this month. Everyone go, no way. Awesome. Also, there's a little bit of history from my family that isn't always completely well known, but some recent events have made me be very public about it. My mother was born in Hoosick Falls, New York. She came from a family of farmers who ended up being sharecroppers after their farm had burned down and they didn't have the money to rebuild. Anyone knows Hoosick Falls? It was 100% white at one point. At the time that I was born, had me and my father were the only people of color that were ever in that community growing up. My father was born in 1928 in Richmond, Virginia. My mother born in 1949. Y'all can do the math. He was born to a family of sharecroppers in Virginia until that family actually, as part of the Great Migration, left the South, came up here, landed actually in Albany, where they were on Sheridan Ave, and my great-grandmother was actually the Madam of Albany. Yep, she ran what she ran. And they had a 3-story walk-up, and I am that Capital Region baby. My mother's family in Rensselaer County, my father in Albany County. I was born in Schenectady, and really felt like it's always been home for me. And recognizing that the lived experiences of my parents deeply influenced me before I knew what they were. My father being a black man in the South during Jim Crow, and then moving up here to the North where, no, not really different. And my mother being a poor white woman in Hoosick Falls, who was also the victim of rape and incest, and having to survive that. Both of my parents were alcoholics for my entire life. Life is not always what it looks like for other people's views. So I say that because very often, for any of us, people will look at us and be like, oh, their story is, or this is who they are. Part of our conversation today, because it will be a conversation, this is not just me talking to y'all, is what does unapologetic actually look like? So, here's the good part where I took the time to write it all down. We already stated, my name is Jamaica Miles, and I stand before you unapologetically, which is really, really important. A bisexual black woman, a mother, a community organizer, and a UAlbany alum who has been called names, threatened, and dismissed simply for daring to speak truth to power. I've called for an end to police brutality. I've spoken out against the genocide being carried out by the state of Israel. I've demanded investments in education and community, not punishments in prisons. And each time the backlash has been loud, I'm still here. I fight every single day for an end to all types of violence, whether it's gun violence, state violence, and the violence of silence. I refuse to ignore the hypocrisy of a society that mourns certain lives loudly while treating black, brown, queer, immigrant, unhoused, and poor lives as disposable. Because silence in the face of that hypocrisy is complicity. When I ran for school board, it was to make clear that our children, our families, and our communities deserve better. And when I speak out against injustice, I do so with the knowledge that liberation is never selective. You don't get to be like, this person gets to have freedom and justice and everybody else, just good luck with that. Our struggles are actually bound together. If we want freedom, safety, and justice, it will take, pun intended, all of us. Showing up fully and authentically, choosing courage over comfort, and refusing to back down. I stand in a long line of tradition. Some know that I received the Harvey Milk Award last school year. And that was someone who very much spoke unapologetically, knowing that there were risks, the same that I do today. Harvey Milk was actually assassinated because he was unapologetic in demanding equality for LGBTQ plus people. His life and his death remind us that living authentically and fighting for justice is dangerous work, but it's still necessary work. And his words still echo today, and I talked about this in my commencement speech. Hope will never be silent. It can't be. So today, I want to talk to you about what it means to live unapologetically as an act of resistance, as an act of resilience, and as a way of practicing hope. It needs to be an action. It's an action word, not just a feeling. Being unapologetic means telling the truth even when people don't want to hear it, especially when people don't want to hear it. It means holding up a mirror to society and refusing to accept the glossy PR of land of the free, home of the brave, that denies the daily realities faced by queer folks, black folks, immigrants, the unhoused, and the poor. These realities are not isolated incidents. They are patterns of systemic harm that those in power would rather dismiss or erase. Some simple truths that I've witnessed recently in the city of Schenectady at summer night. 14-year-old boys were assaulted and harassed by police officers. Children, not suspects, not perpetrators. They were children. And when I named that truth, I was met with racist comments like, "You reap what you sow," and being called cotton. Just because I would not deny the pain of our children and I would not let them try to justify it. That is unapologetic truth. I said what I said. Refusing to let anyone dehumanize our children, refusing to accept violence as normal, refusing to be the PR campaign for policing. No, just no. Because let's be clear, violence is not safety. Brutality is not accountability, and silence will never protect us. I said that during the commencement speech too. So yeah, I'm gonna keep saying it. Even when it makes people uncomfortable, even when it comes at the cost of me being threatened, repeatedly, online, in person. Police assaulted black children in the city that I live in the city that I'm raising my children in. What does it look like for me to be quiet, to not speak about that? And I'll keep naming the truth that racism and anti-trans sentiment are deliberate tools used to divide us and distract us. Not because it's truth, but because it's intentional. We cannot whisper what we know quietly. We have to be loud about it. We must demand humanity for everyone. We must demand investment in our youth, in housing, and programs that help families thrive, not continue to overspend on systems that harm us. Unapologetic doesn't mean reckless. I get accused of being reckless, which is crazy because I'm really not radical at all. It means we're rooted. The question is, what are we being rooted in? It's in love. It's in community. It's in commitment. It's in acknowledging the unshakable knowledge that we all deserve more. Not ever the bare minimum. Not, okay, I have housing and I'm paying half of my salary to stay there. You don't have housing, you have debt. Our children's lives are worth more than comfort, more than silence, and more than the approval of power, because, I'll be damned. There's no version where I'm standing by for either my children or anyone else's or for all of you in this room and simply going, well, as long as somebody else gave me permission, then it must be acceptable. And I will never, ever, 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 ever apologize for demanding the truth to be heard. I'm not here to lecture all of you like I'm almost done with everything I have to say. Because this is about a conversation. This is about your voices, your thoughts, your ideas, your questions. Ask me about this topic, ask me about the movement, ask me about my personal life, my lived experience. It literally is all open. I'm a very transparent person. Like my posts on social media are all public. I don't care. Unless they're about my kids. And that's family only. Dialogue is how we learn, it's how we grow. It's how we create change and real dialogue, real debate. Not folks using positions of power to threaten us into submission or to engage in hatred that continues to divide us.